Hey there. This is going to be a reading for Leo for February 2026. I hope you find something here that's helpful for you. Wow. Yeah, it seems like there's going to be a profound change in basically the energy of your day-to-day life. It seems like it might feel like things slow down in a big way, like maybe life doesn't feel like it's moving as fast, or the amount of chaos that you are feeling is dramatically dropped down, but in a very positive way. I get the sense that like this is going to be a time of inviting you to really foster your level of patience, and the speed at which you think you need to be achieving your goals. It's almost like a really happy reality check is what this is feeling like so far. And I think it will be, on a certain level, it'll be welcome to you. Like, you might have some resistance as being like a very fiery, energetic person who wants to achieve highly. It's understandable. You set a high standard for yourself. But I think in a deeper way, the part of you that if you were to admit it actually really wants to slow down and take it easier and actually find yourself before continuing the grind forward, that part will be very satisfied this month, I believe. So the center of your reading for this month is the Ace of Cups. This is about an inflow of new positive emotion, of new joy, and maybe even a significant time of release, a lot of tears, a lot of baggage that you've carried with you for a long time finally either dissipating, or some new sense of peace with the situation coming through seems to be here. And I think there's like a certain level of maturity you need to reach as well. I think sometimes you need to ride the waves of the emotions, the highs and the lows, and to really feel everything, to feel the petty feelings as well as the ones of, wise and compassionate understanding. It's life is really, really challenging. But I think your focus is in a place now where you just have a lot more clarity. There's a lot more sense of balance. In your conscious realm, you have the Two of Pentacles. That's kind of your quest to really balance things out, both materially and in your emotional realm as well. There's even like I get maybe you're in a better place of looking at the ups and downs of life as more of spectacle rather than so intensely real, or with stakes that are so high. It's sort of like becoming more at home with the coming and going of different phenomena. You know, the way that change is the only constant in our universe, our world. This almost feels like, you know, looking for a more meditative, conscious, present state in your day-to-day affairs, because that's kind of the whole deal is of meditation is watching where we get pulled away from ourselves, what thoughts or emotions try to wrap us up in and mold our reality, mold what we think is actually happening. Whereas if we take a moment to quiet ourselves, to simply observe what's happening with us, what we're feeling, we see that these emotions do pass and that we're not at their mercy. In fact, this is really like a relaxation energy. And I think because this is in your conscious realm, I think you'll find yourself in your day-to-day practice just watching your ups and downs a lot more. Let's see if we can get a little clarification on it. Yeah, and even, I think on a certain level, this is just wise, energetic exchange, you know, looking at how much you're giving to other people as well as how much you're receiving from other people, being just discerning. And I would say that if you feel a certain amount of guilt in not giving enough to people, or even guilt in receiving gifts from other people or help, assistance of any kind from other people, I think this will be a natural time where you relax that very imposing standard that you've held on yourself, because again, life is hard and we need help, and we need to offer the help that we can to other people. And this seems to be, I think it will be part of what will be so emotionally fulfilling about, you know, the days and weeks ahead, is that you know exactly how much you can give, which relieves the guilt of not being able to give more. It's like, if you know, almost like writing something down, like or making a budget or looking at your bank account, knowing how much money you have to spend or what you actually have to work with, like that reduces the amount of questioning that you do. It's like, well, could I actually give more, you know, or did I way overextend myself by helping this person? It's like, if you have things spelled out, if you take the steps to account for the resources that you have in whatever way that feels right to you, you can relieve yourself of the arguments inside as to how much you should be giving. This seems like you're moving into a very practical place, because you are not wanting the distress that comes from this infighting in your mind. So there's a lot of heart energy in this reading, a lot of good nature, and it seems that you're moving into a place of strong discernment as to, you know, what you can contribute, and letting the hard times just kind of pass by with a little bit more ease, not taking them quite so seriously. Sort of a question mark on the reading so far, though, is the Four of Cups that you have in your subconscious realm. This seems maybe just a sort of general feeling of dissatisfaction in some way, but I think the emphasis in the rest of your reading is that the gift that you've been like hoping to receive but maybe somehow feel blocked from getting, like those insights or gifts from the higher power will reach you soon. And I think maybe because in a deep way you've called for it. Let's see if we can get a little more clarification, because it feels like whatever you've been hoping will reach you is finally coming through. Let's see if we can, if we can figure out why that is. I think it'll have something to do with the way that you work, or the things that you work on. Again, there's been a lot of focus on all the readings I've done so far for January of really simplifying your projects and identifying what it is that's actually worth working on. And if something comes along that pulls your attention, and you ask yourself, is this in line with my intention, with my goal for the near future? If it's not, if it just feels like a distraction or something tangential, you can let it go. Because again, this is going to really be a time of simplification, really narrowing your focus onto what matters. Yeah, and I think at the same time, introducing an element of romance into your life again. I think maybe part of the resistance that you felt in receiving the new gift, the new fulfillment, is that maybe you haven't identified yourself as a person who's worthy of living a fun life or having enjoyment. And this is in a day-to-day way too. It's like you can look on yourself a little bit more heroically even. And I would invite you to consider, why would you actually no I'm not going to go down that road, but allow the way that you craft the story of your life to be a bit more fluid during this time too. I think that's part of the message. There's a lot of water energy here, which suggests that if there's been a stuck feeling in your life, or a dissatisfaction that you don't know how to break through, maybe just invite the energy of water in whatever way that feels good to you, whether it be meditating on water or being around water more, particularly water in nature, to remind you the nature of change. Water can evaporate, it can solidify, it can mold to the container, to the moment that it's in, but none of those states is static. Water's changing at all times. So in a very positive way, you can be changing more and more, but changing to embody this more focused being. And I think there's certain there's an emphasis on this reading seems to be highlighting the ways in which you might have been more rigid lately in order to preserve an element of power. In your challenge for the month, you have the Emperor in reverse. To look at so much water energy in this reading and see the reversed fiery Emperor here, it's almost like a certain mindset or a way of being, or even just an energy that you carry with you on a day-to-day basis is no longer just applicable. It's sort of it's out of sorts with the demands of life right now, or even your heart's demands or heart's desires for what you want to experience. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to loosen up and maybe relinquish a certain amount of control, if it means getting in touch with your emotions again. I could see this energy being one where you're kind of caught in the grind of, maybe going straight to work, or following a routine that you set months ago, but not really recognizing that routine is not ideal for you. You kind of just been doing it out of a almost dictatorial, like, commitment to consistency. And this just might be a time of really loosening up. Let's see if we can get some clarification on your challenge for February. Why is the Emperor here in Leo's challenge? Yeah, in some sort of way you've really committed to something that is just no longer in harmony with your life. There's almost a self-deception element that I get in the mix of it too. So the Ten of Swords is signifying that these patterns of life have come to an end for you. They've long since worn out. Sort of like driving a car on a flat tire. It's like it's time to just change the tire and keep moving. There's I guess that's my own personal. I've got a car that I need to change the tires on, and that's what this feels like to me. It's like, why the hell am I not just doing that thing that will make my life so much easier and not having to like refill the tire every day because of the leak in it or whatever. So there's like this. Maybe even like, again, the infighting in your mind seems to be here with this energy. And again, like the swords here are not as compatible with all of the emotional energy of the cups and the rest of your reading, and the more grounded nature of the pentacles. So maybe, long story short, whatever this feeling is, I'm sure you can identify it as well for yourself. You can loosen it up and, I would say, dramatically decrease the speed at which you expect life to be moving right now. And I say that because in your advice, you have the Ace of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. So this, with a dramatic new mindset coming in here, one that is more focused on simplicity and effectiveness, you're gonna really be able to pivot your life, and this is gonna have emotional repercussions as well. So this is both. Yeah, the feeling here is that with this change of mind, this kind of relinquishing this old, sort of almost authoritarian imposition you've made on yourself to live in a certain way, there's like allowing yourself to simplify is going to have big emotional rewards for you, because again, Ace of Cups is at the heart of your reading for the month. And I think the Seven of Pentacles here, again, these are both pieces of advice for you. It may be also to see what it is that you've already cultivated that's ready for you. Maybe in however you've been grinding along in the recent past, you've neglected to see that something that you've already built or planted seeds for is coming to fruition and is ready for your attention again. So this might even be a shift from like almost like a chase energy, for really going after something that you identified that you wanted probably a long time ago and just sticking with that, to now sort of looking at again what it is that you're ready to receive. It's the feeling I get here is that you don't have to work nearly as hard, but you can begin working on something that truly fulfills you and that captivates you in a very positive way, and that's going to lead the new direction of your life. So even though the future may be unclear, or the ways in which these gifts are going to, where these gifts may take you may not be immediately noticeable, it's sort of like the first step in this process is to do something different than you've been doing, right? And so this, I'm getting that you will probably feel a welcome relaxation from just taking this step, even if you don't know exactly where it's headed. I think it's time for me to stop talking through the tarot, because I think you've gotten the strong impressions that you need. But we're going to draw some oracle cards for you to kind of guide the way for the rest of the month, kind of highlight some key ideas that you want to keep in mind. So this is for Leo. Interesting. You know, I don't think those are your cards. Let me see here. For Leo, it's interesting, like your tarot was a little hesitant to come forward and your oracle is a little hesitant to come forward as well. So there might, I mean, I don't know if this is how this will translate, but there might be some resistance up front to kind of loosening your grip on whatever it is, whatever ways you've been trying to keep control in your life. But I think that once you do let go, things will begin to flow. The relief that you feel will carry on for a long time once you can kind of break that initial resistance. Sort of feels like easing up on yourself in a big way. Wow, that's great. Wow, yeah. Oh. We can't get one more for you. Go. Oh, this is an interesting dynamic here. All right, so your oracle for the month is New Vision, the Lovers, and the Dream. So this to me feels like allowing yourself this new vision is going to invite a whole lot more love and new experience into your life that you couldn't have had with kind of the old, kind of recycled, static vision of your life. And I think what was causing that static state was this emphasis, this fixation on a dream that has entirely existed in your mind, but is not ever coming into reality in any kind of way. And in fact, like, it feels like you've been missing the richness and the essential nature of life because of a preoccupation with this dream. I'm going to go ahead and read from the guidebook for you on these cards. Even if it takes the reading a little bit long, because I think the specificity will be worth it if I can find my book. Alrighty. New Vision. The figure on this card is being born anew, emerging from his earthbound roots and growing wings to fly into the unbounded. The geometric shapes around the body of the figure show that the many dimensions of life simultaneously available to him. They show the many dimensions of life simultaneously available to him. The square represents the physical, the manifest, the known. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading here. I think what I needed to say was the square represents the physical, the manifest, and the known. The circle represents the unmanifest, the spirit, and the pure space. And the triangle symbolizes the threefold nature of the universe. manifest, unmanifest, and the human being who contains both. Now you are presented with an opportunity to see life in all of its dimensions, from the depths to the heights. They exist together, and when we come to know from experience that the dark and the difficult are needed as much as the light and the easy, then we begin to have a very different perspective on the world. By allowing all of life's colors to penetrate us, we become more integrated. Next, we have the lovers. What we call love is really a whole spectrum of relating, reaching from the earth to the sky. At the most earthy level, love is sexual attraction. Many of us remain stuck there because of our conditioning, because our conditioning has burdened our sexuality with all kinds of expectations and repressions. Actually, the biggest problem with sexual love is that it never lasts. Only if we accept this fact can we then really celebrate it for what it is. Welcome its happening and say goodbye with gratitude when it's not. Then, as we mature, we can begin to experience the love that exists beyond sexuality and honors the unique individuality of the other. We begin to understand that our partner often functions as a mirror, reflecting unseen aspects of our deeper self and supporting us to become whole. This love is based in freedom, not expectation or need. Its wings take us higher and higher towards the universal love that experiences all as one. The dream. Some enchanted evening, you're going to meet your soulmate, the perfect person who will meet all your needs and fulfill all of your dreams. Right? Wrong. This fantasy that songwriters and poets are so fond of perpetuating has its roots in memories of the womb, where we were so secure and at one with our mothers. It's no wonder we've hankered to return to that place all of our lives. But, to put it quite brutally, it's a childish dream. And it's amazing that we hang on to it so stubbornly in the face of reality. Nobody, whether it's your current mate or some dreamed of partner in the future, has any obligation to deliver your happiness on a platter, nor could they even if they wanted to. Real love comes not from trying to solve our neediness by depending on another, but by developing our own inner richness and maturity. Then we have so much love to give that we naturally draw lovers towards us. So it's interesting, your reading became much more about love near the end, and that may not be for everyone who sees this, but in some sort of deep way, it's almost like you're making peace with the truth of life and the external people or situations are not going to be what makes you happy. Achievement is not going to be what makes you happy. That happiness and that peacefulness has to begin within you first, before you can hope to experience a deep and satisfying love with another, or an investment in a heart-based project, or even just a heart-based life. But what comes from doing that is probably results that are more fulfilling than your mind could ever come up with to as a dream. So I think allow yourself to really integrate the hardships that you've been through when crafting this new vision of you, and I think that will go a long way in attracting to you what it is that you want to experience. You can feel what it is that you want to experience before the external is reflected back to you with it. So again, invest that beautiful romantic energy in yourself. Don't limit yourself. Don't doubt yourself. but really leave room for your emotions to guide you a little bit more right now. You can relinquish the dream a little bit if it's been more painful than rewarding for you. So I hope you have a very powerful month ahead of you, and I'm very happy you allowed me to read for you. I will talk to you again. Thank you very much.